70% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. The bankruptcy rate is at an all-time high, and foreclosures are rising again. Credit card debt continues to climb, and we have $1 trillion in student loan debt out there. The average car payment in America today now is $496 over 84 months. That's stupid. Normal in America is broke and stupid. You don't want to be normal.
Want to know why most Americans live paycheck to paycheck? It all boils down to this all-time quote from Dave Ramsey. Your greatest asset is your paycheck. So when you treat your most valuable asset casually, what do you expect the outcome to be? Financial freedom? Wealth creation? Certainly not. Instead of reaching your financial dreams, you'll be diving headfirst into a free fall. But fear not. There are 6 strategic places out of Dave Ramsey's principles to channel your money, each with the power to rewrite your financial future. But make sure you stay until the end, because apart from the fact that these 6 avenues will break your paycheck cycle, one of them will make you $2 million richer. Okay, so the first thing you need to do as soon as you receive your paycheck is to establish your baseline. Make no mistake, what you believe about money shapes the way you spend it. The gap between a millionaire and someone financially struggling isn't just about their accumulated wealth. It's about their mindset. Take someone like Dave Ramsey, for instance. Even if you stripped away his wealth, leaving him with $200,000, and compared him to a gambler with $500,000, Mr. Ramsey would likely become a millionaire long before the latter, despite the gambler's initial advantage. Why? It's simple. He knows his baseline. Ever heard of the ostrich effect? It's a psychological phenomenon where people avoid negative information or bury their heads in the sand. Metaphorically speaking, to avoid facing unpleasant realities or making difficult decisions. It's like pretending a problem doesn't exist by ignoring it. But here's the kicker. This particular cognitive bias is the major reason why statistics like these exist. The debt in America is sky high because many individuals completely avoid confronting their spending habits or seeking solutions. And by turning a blind eye to mounting debts or overspending, they continue to accumulate debt, unaware or indifferent to the long-term consequences. But guess what? The solution isn't as hard as people make it out to be. All you need to do here is calculate your expenditures for housing, groceries, transportation, insurance, and other essential living costs for the upcoming month. Then, assess what portion of your total net income covers these expenses. You can use your preferred approach for this calculation, but if you really want to find your baseline, here's my piece of advice. Look back on the 60 to 90 days of your bank statements and track every expense you made in that period. Then take some time categorizing your spending habits into necessary and unnecessary expenses and writing it all out. After completing your expense calculations, review each item in writing to identify potential areas for reduction, and then create a written budget. But make sure your total expenditure remains below 60% of your net income, as this is crucial for achieving success in Avenues 2 and 3. But before we go into the next points, there's something I want you to see first.
When you do a written budget, usually you feel like you got a raise because you're like, where is all this money going? You're going to discover that you're wasting money. You're going to discover that money's going to disorganization and so on.
Creating a written budget is one of Dave Ramsey's core principles because it establishes a financial baseline by clearly defining income and expenses. This baseline will serve as your reality check, preventing you from ignoring your financial situation or succumbing to the ostrich effect. And this brings us to the second area of managing your finances, which is focused on prioritizing necessities. Sometimes the most important thing isn't what you do with your money, but what you don't. Imagine your finances as a sturdy house. Without a clear baseline serving as a foundation, the entire structure is at risk of crumbling. However, necessities are the bricks and mortar that hold everything together. And by this, we mean your rent, transportation, groceries, and everything else you need to survive for a month. Dave Ramsey once said, "We buy things we don't need with money. We don't have to impress people we don't like." And he's absolutely right about it.
Driving around in cars you can't afford with car payments to impress people at a stoplight you'll never meet. A lot of you spend a lot of money to impress people you will never meet with your car.
Many Americans spend hundreds of dollars every month on things they don't even need. If your car works fine, then why are you bending your back over to make payments on a fancy new car you clearly can't afford? Dave Ramsey talks about this problem all the time. Don't get me wrong, rewarding yourself and enjoying the fruits of your sweat isn't exactly bad. The problem, however, stems from over-prioritizing wants to the point where they get in the way of meeting your other needs, or worse, leading you into debt. Like I said earlier, needs are everything you require to survive for a period of time, while wants are merely the items or services acquired just for pleasure and aren't crucial for your survival. For many Americans, the latter makes up the majority of their budget. If you want to get rich, you need to curb your frivolous expenditures and embrace a more frugal lifestyle tailored more to your needs. Personally, I advise you to try Dave Ramsey's 50-30-20 rule, which suggests dividing your after-tax income into 3 categories: needs, wants, and savings. According to this rule, 50% of your income should be allocated to needs, which include essential expenses like housing, utilities, groceries, and transportation. The next 30% is reserved for wants, such as dining out, entertainment, and non-essential purchases. Finally, 20% of your income should be allocated to savings and debt repayment, including contributions to emergency funds, retirement accounts, and paying off debt. Spoiler alert, our final tip at the end will make everything so seamless, so make sure you stay until the end to find out what it's all about. But hey, speaking of debt, your third priority should be to address any outstanding debts by making timely payments. Remember when Dave Ramsey said, debt is a method to make banks wealthy, and that those who borrow are slaves to the lender? Dave Ramsey's albeit harsh words reflect his belief in the dangers of debt and the importance of financial independence. By saying debt is a method to make banks wealthy, Ramsey is highlighting how interest payments and fees associated with borrowing money contribute to the profits of financial institutions, often at the expense of borrowers. Additionally, his assertion that those who borrow are slaves to the lender underscores the power dynamics in debt relationships. When people owe money to lenders, they are obligated to pay repayment terms and interest rates, which can limit their financial freedom and flexibility. You need to make minimum payments on all forms of debt, and that includes student loan payments, auto loan payments, and even credit card payments. Now, making the minimum payment here is really important because the credit score in the U.S. is very sensitive to on-time payments, and if you miss it, your credit score will suffer. And here's where things get interesting. Did you know that maintaining a good credit score can lead to long-term savings? Not a lot of people know this, but maintaining a good credit score can lead to long-term savings by securing lower interest rates on loans and credit cards. With a higher credit score, you're going to be perceived as a less risky borrower, making you eligible for better terms and lower APRs, which can then lead to reduced interest payments over time, saving money on mortgages, car loans, and other forms of credit. When it comes to paying off debt, there are 2 methods that are proven to work. First off, there's the avalanche method of paying off debt. This involves tackling debts with the highest interest rates first while making minimum payments on all other debts. Once the highest interest debt is paid off, the payments previously allocated to it are redirected towards the next highest interest debt, creating a snowball effect. For example, imagine you have 3 debts: a credit card with a $5,000 balance and 18% interest, a student loan with $10,000 balance and 6% interest, and a car loan with a $15,000 balance and 4% interest. Using the avalanche method, you would prioritize paying off the credit card debt first as it has the highest interest rate, before moving on to the student loan and then the car loan. But if that doesn't quite catch your fancy, there is another method called the snowball method, and if it pleases you, Dave Ramsey in particular prefers this one. As you just heard, the snowball method involves paying off debts starting with the smallest balance first, regardless of interest rate, while making minimum payments on all other debts. Once the smallest debt is paid off, the payments previously allocated to it are rolled into the next by paying off the next smallest debt, creating momentum like a snowball rolling downhill. For example, if you have the same 3 debts as mentioned before with the balances of $5,000, $10,000, and $15,000, you would focus on paying off the $5,000 credit card debt first, and then the $10,000 student loan, and then finally the $15,000 car loan. That way, it's going to feel like you're gaining momentum every time you pay off a single debt source because the total number of debt sources that you have is going to be shrinking. In any case, both methods have their advantages. The avalanche method minimizes interest payments over time, potentially saving money in the long run, while the snowball method provides psychological motivation by quickly eliminating smaller debts, leading to a sense of accomplishment and momentum. Ultimately, deciding which method to pick depends on your individual preferences and psychology. Now, after you've paid off your high interest rate debt, the next place you need to pump your paycheck into is a retirement fund, preferably a 401k. Now, there are a lot of benefits to doing this. To start with, any sum you choose to contribute to your 401k is deducted from your paycheck before taxes are taken out. So this means you're actually paying taxes on a smaller portion of your salary, potentially lowering your overall tax rate. And even when you finally pay taxes on your 401k, it may be at a lower rate. You'll be taxed on the amounts you withdraw in retirement, potentially at a lower tax rate depending on your retirement income. And don't even get us started on how lots of employers offer what is called a matching contribution. And for the sake of the uninitiated, this implies that they'll match the dollars you contribute to your 401k, often up to a certain limit. For example, if your employer provides a 5% match, they'll contribute the same amount to your account as you do, up to 5% of your salary. It's probably worth mentioning that you might be able to contribute more, but only the initial 5% will be matched. So, let's just give you a mental picture. Let's say you make $100,000 a year, and your employer might match up to 5% of your salary. That's about $5,000 of free money and contributions that your employer might give you before your retirement account alone. Think of it as extra income or a juicy bonus. So, with all of your incentives mentioned, if you're not contributing to your 401k, ask yourself why you're passing up that opportunity. And here's where things get crazy. Imagine you begin at the age of 25 with an annual salary of $50,000. If you consistently contribute 10% of your earnings, receive a 3% raise each year, and earn an 8% rate of return on your investment, you could accumulate over $2 million in your 401k by the time you retire at 65. If you're not certain you can achieve a higher return than that with at least 95% certainty over 45 years on your own, then why shouldn't you invest in a 401k? Make no mistake, planning for retirement is crucial for everyone, regardless of age or income level, as it ensures financial security and stability during your latter stages of life. By planning for retirement early, you will have the opportunity to build a substantial nest egg that will allow you to maintain your desired lifestyle, cover essential expenses, and pursue your interests and passions without financial stress when you're too old to work so hard. Relying solely on Social Security benefits for your retirement income may not provide you with sufficient financial support to maintain your desired standard of living. Social Security benefits are intended to supplement retirement savings, not serve as your primary source of income. The average Social Security benefit may not cover all your essential expenses, especially as healthcare costs and life expectancy rise. Additionally, the future of Social Security funding is uncertain, leading to concerns about potential benefit cuts or changes to eligibility criteria. By contrast, having a well-planned retirement strategy that includes personal savings, investments, and employer-sponsored plans like a 401k or IRA offers you greater control and flexibility over your financial future. It allows you to tailor your retirement income to your specific needs and goals, ensuring a more comfortable and secure retirement style. All right, let's get into the fifth sector, which is simply taxable investing. These are going to be the investments that will help your money start working for you and potentially help you get rich. And by this, we mean investments in real estate, the stock market, bonds, commodities, or perhaps even riskier investments like cryptocurrency or forex trading. But no matter what you choose to invest in, make sure your pick is something that you really understand. Dave Ramsey always advises investors to study the habits of people you want to be like and then imitate them, because if they are succeeding, they must be doing something right. But he didn't say that we should just mindlessly follow them. Note that even he used the keyword study. Trust me, one of the last things you need to do is be investing in something that you don't really understand or that your friends are telling you to invest in. Why? Because it reduces the risk of panic and or making uninformed decisions and losing money. When you understand the investment, you can better assess its potential risks and rewards, evaluate its performance over time, and make informed decisions based on your own knowledge and your research, instead of making emotional or speculative decisions, which can often lead to significant losses. By sticking to investments within your knowledge and expertise, you can build a more diversified and resilient portfolio tailored to your financial goals and your risk tolerance. Additionally, understanding your investments has a way of growing your confidence and your peace of mind, allowing you to stay focused on your long-term financial objectives rather than reacting impulsively to market fluctuations or external influences. So really, it's a win-win situation. But ensure you also track your returns and how you're performing, because you need a good feedback loop to figure out if you're actually a good investor or not, and to learn from your mistakes. But hey, if the kind of investments we've talked about so far aren't exactly your thing, you might want to consider investing in yourself. And no, we don't mean splurging on a new car or home to make yourself appear better. That defeats all of the points that we've talked about so far. What I mean here is putting your money in yourself and developing more skills that you can use as leverage to get promoted at work, or hey, get a higher paying job elsewhere. And this brings us to the sixth avenue, which is never losing sight of opportunity costs. To throw more light on it, opportunity cost refers to the potential benefit that an individual misses out on when choosing one alternative over another. So it's basically the value of the next best alternative that is foregone when a decision is made. For example, if you choose to spend money on a vacation, the opportunity cost of value of what you could have done with that money instead, such as investing or paying off debt, it's gone. Similarly, if you decide to pursue a degree full-time, the opportunity cost includes the income that you could have earned by working instead. So you see, understanding this cost will always help you make more informed decisions by considering the benefits and drawbacks of different choices and weighing their alternatives to make the most effective use of their resources. It's about recognizing the trade-offs instead of deciding where to put your money and what you could have done with it instead. Some people may prioritize paying off their mortgage to achieve a debt-free lifestyle, affording them the freedom to pursue other ventures like part-time work, entrepreneurship, or travel. Others may prefer to continue investing in various assets like private equity, peer-to-peer lending, or utilizing taxable investment accounts. Ultimately, there's no one-size-fits-all approach. It's all about aligning your financial decisions with your risk tolerance, income level, and life goals. Guys, what if I told you that most of the avenues you've learned so far will all fail because you lack one crucial ingredient? Pay close attention because this is arguably the most important part of today's video. Imagine saving for your retirement fund, investing, paying your necessities, and reducing your debt paycheck after paycheck. It sounds quite tedious, right? In psychology, this phenomenon is called decision fatigue, and it refers to the deteriorating quality of decisions made by an individual after a long session of decision making. You see, humans have emotions and psychology. We're not machines. The more we make decisions throughout the day, the more our mental resources become depleted, leading to poorer decision-making abilities, impulsivity, and a greater tendency to avoid making decisions altogether. So on that note, what if I told you that there's a way you can make all those decisions instantaneously without even moving a finger or thinking about it? Yup, that's the power of automating your finances. Here's how to do it. First, set up automatic deposits of your paychecks into your checking account. Then, arrange with your bank to automatically transfer funds from your checking account into two new accounts, one for spending and one for saving. Your spending account covers fixed monthly bills and essential expenses such as groceries, gas, and utilities. By understanding your financial baseline, you can establish spending goals for non-essentials. Then, schedule automatic transfers at the month's end to move any remaining funds into your second account, designated for savings. From there, the funds in your savings account can be directed towards whichever area you're currently focused on, building an emergency fund, clearing high-interest debt, investing, or seizing new opportunities. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.